Welcome back everyone to our gameplay series of Transport Fever 2. And today's video is one that I have been waiting for quite some time now. You can see in the bottom right hand corner we have reached 1959. That's important because around 1950 to 1952 is when the large airports become available. And I mentioned this briefly in previous episodes of the series. You start off with access to somewhere around 1920, 1922, somewhere in that range. You start off with access to a very small airfield. That's important because the small airfield can only handle small aircraft. As time goes on, and around 1950 or so, you get into larger aircraft, both cargo and passenger. And that is important because not only do they go very fast, somewhere around 500 plus miles an hour, but their capacity is much better. So it's much more efficient to do, and of course, much more expensive. Now, I'm excited because this is something that I have not had a great deal of success with. I have set up passenger airports before. Now, cargo, I've had tons of success with it, making money hand over fist. But passenger airports, I've had great success in having tons and tons of customers and keeping these airplanes full, but I have not had great experience with making tons and tons of money. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose the large airport. And you can see it's pretty large, especially when you compare it to the size of these cities. So here's where the idea of the hub city begins to take effect. So for right now, I am planning to put an airport outside of Costa Mesa. And let's see how we're going to be able to do this. Wow, the game is really wanting to lag on me right now. So we're going to have to be careful about that. So I want to do something like this. I want to put it on the outskirts of town. We'll put it over here close by our train network. And then I'm going to connect it up to this nearest... let's see. In fact, there's a new airline available. Yeah, the game is really laggy when I'm trying to place this down. So we'll have to be a little careful here. All right, so I'm going to place it right there. You can see almost $15 million for that. So now as we come down, the second place I want to put one is in Surprise. Now, again, no great surprise there. It is, if not the largest city we have, certainly one of the largest cities. So then the next question becomes, where do we put it? And I think I want to put it right up here. We had talked about using this area for the train, but I really want to make a go of this airport traffic here. I think this can really work. And let's see, how do I want to orient this? This is not bad. Again, you can't really get it straight. That's probably the straightest we're going to get it. But that really doesn't get us the road where we need it. So I tell you what, we'll just go with this. It's going to look not exactly the way I want it to look, but we'll deal with it. All right, so there are some adjustments we can make to this thing. But first thing we need to do before I forget is that we need to connect it to the road network. We need to make sure we do that. We'll go ahead and give it a nice looking road. Here's the road network that we're going to want to come into. So let's go ahead and come right into here. And then if we can, if the game won't curve this too much, I'm going to try to get over to these others. There we go. So that works out well. And the reason that is important is because I want to try to give multiple possibilities for connections to this road network. All right, did that just... Okay, no, we kept the connections. It kind of looked like it was going to get rid of them. Yeah, that's fine. Again, not exactly a right angle, but now we're going to give ourselves multiple connections over here. And we already know this is a huge amount of people that are coming in and out of this terminal. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to, we want to configure, and we want street access right there. And what that's going to enable people to do is have an easy way to hop over and get there very quick without us having to add an extra stop. Because in most of the places, we would probably need to add an extra stop. And already you can see this is overcrowded. That looks to be this one right here. So we already need to do some expansions. So let's just go ahead and expand all of them. Because this area up here is all about making us money. The town can expand in a lot of different areas, but right up here is all about us and making us money. All right, and you can see this area will indeed service the airport, so that's good. So we've got one thing taken care of. Now let's get down here, and my goal is to again have a road network coming right down through here and connecting up. So let's see if we can make that happen. So road network, we want to come right down through here. So we'll just start with these. That'll be perfect. And then we'll have this come down to about right there. Connect that up. Now the road network is connected on a very basic level. Anyway. All right, let's see if that works out. And sure enough, okay, I like that. And we might even, oh my goodness, why do you want to do that? That is no good. And in the future, we're going to want to make this come out there. Again, just trying to give as many different options here as possible. But you notice that we've got an issue. Now we've got a lot of people coming in and out over here. In fact, tons of them. We need to expand over there, really. But we got to get them over to here. So to do that, we're just going to put down another station. Again, not the most efficient use, but in our defense, we didn't know exactly how this was going to lay out when we were doing the previous video. So I'm going to give this a little room, try to put it right here, sort of in the center. And then we are going to greatly expand this. And then we're going to expand over here. We're going to expand over there. And that'll be good. I tell you what, let's just go ahead and make it 3 deep on all of these, just to give us some room. And let's go back under configure. Street access, we're going to want street access right there as well. Again, we could make each of these one way if we wanted to. All of that stuff is available to us. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a road network. And we're going to start here at the airport. We're going to come over here, which, again, we may have to do some things over there. And then we're just going to try to hit a few spots in the city to try to keep some traffic out of this other bus stop, because we already know it's overcrowded. So we're going to go there. Then I'm going to come in right there. And then we're going to hit right here as well. And again, you can see some of these large aircraft that are coming in. That'll give us a total of 4 stops, and I think is really going to help us out. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of the pop-up. And yeah, that should be good. It'll give opportunities for people in different parts of the city to get here. Okay, so let's do this one and call it, and then we're going to call it airport. All right, there we go. So now you might have realized that we have not set up any routes for the actual airports themselves. That'll be pretty easy. New line from airport to airport. So there we go. So this is Costa Mesa to Surprise, and I'm going to put airport in there. That way, in the future, I can come up to this filter line and just filter it by airport and see those. All right, so that looks good, and you can see just how much easier it was for us in this area as opposed to over in Costa Mesa. A much different situation. And all right, so now the real fun part for me, which is we need to start purchasing some airlines. So what's going to happen here is all of the passengers, in this case from right here, they will all scurry over and they'll enter in one of these three areas. And then they will simply come out here and wait in this terminal for an airplane to pull in, load them up, then they'll head back out. And then this denotes which area or which direction that the airplanes are flying into. So you can actually swap this around, assuming you have enough room around, which we do in this case. So we might need to swap that around in the future. We'll just have to see. All right, so let's go ahead and, oops, we need to get out of that screen. So we need to, why will you not let me do that? There we go. Buy vehicles. That's what I was trying to do. I needed to click on here, but it wasn't giving me what I was looking for. So the vehicles we get to buy are going to be slightly more expensive than what we've been dealing with. If we come down to the most expensive one, 450 miles per hour, cargo capacity of 21, very quick loading speed of 4x. And this one is available until the year 2000. So we got a while with this one. You can see it was available from 1960, which is just a couple of years ago. At this point, it's going to cost us $8.4 million. This is why before you get into airplanes, you're going to want to make sure you have a huge amount of money. And then $1.4 million per year. Let's see what we get here. Capacity is 19 versus 21. The speed is a little bit less, going from 3 to 450, but I don't think speed is going to be a huge problem for us. But that speed, the cargo difference, 19 to 21, is a big deal. So I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and go with the more expensive one here just because it's the latest and greatest thing. And I am going to set up a total of 3 of these, so $25 million. And of course, we're going to put it on the one and only route we have going right now for airlines. And let's see how quickly people start making a run for it over to the airport. And you can see, there they go, taking off. So again, this formation is where they're coming in, and then they'll take off on the opposite side. Right now, we have no people to come in, so we're going to have to let that, it's going to take a few minutes for that to happen. Now, let's come on to the other side of this over in Costa Mesa. We have, once again, no people waiting, which is always a bit scary. But we're going to have a lot of traffic coming in and out over here, assuming that I did remember to do that, right? Yeah, airport. All right, but did I put anything on that one? I don't think I did. I did not. Well, it's going to be hard for us to get very much traffic over here if I don't do that part. So we're just going to have planes coming in from all over the place, and they're going to have no passengers to transport. That is certainly not what we want. All right, let's see. Once again, more expensive per year. Capacity is virtually the same. We'll go ahead and go with the Fishbowl. Love that name. And we're going to have 5 of these. Not sure we're going to need 5. We might need more than 5. Who knows? So let's do Costa Mesa Airport and see if we can't get a little business up and running. But again, right now you can see these guys are coming in here. There are no people waiting right now, which long term would be a huge problem. So let's see if we can make some money with this. Let's see what our frequency is. 3 minutes, okay, not bad. Losing tons of money, which is completely to be expected right now. All right, so if we come back down here, there are, once again, no people. So this is certainly taking plenty long enough. And there they go. I see some people scurrying over here. And who knows, we might need to put a bus stop over there and actually ferry people back and forth, because now we have our first people out here waiting. So this one, he has a grand total of 1 person. So this is very easy to tell why you would be freaking out if you were playing on a harder difficulty and you had to deal with the fact that you have no passengers or 1 or 2 passengers, and you are losing this type of money. So again, that will change as time goes on. In fact, you can already see we're starting to get some passengers. So no reason to really freak out. It's just a matter of giving it a little bit of time for this to work itself out. So while that's happening, let's actually look at what we did up to this point and see what kind of expansion we need to do. Maybe improve some capacities, maybe change out some trains, because we haven't done that in quite a while. Let's see, right here, this guy's running right at capacity and making some nice money, so I kind of like that. Let's see how we're doing over here. We have 155, near 160, 180 capacity, so we certainly don't need to add any capacity there. If we come down here, we have 83 oil. What's his capacity? Train 2 is 70. Okay, we're looking good there. I like that. Let's come over to one of the newer lines we've set up. It's now several years old in game time, but one of the newer lines we have is over here, 96 wheat capacity. What do we have? 70, so it'll probably be around 80 when he gets here. So that one's looking pretty good. What about this end of the spectrum? We are still doing this by road. We are at 90 right now. Okay, that is way backed up. So let's go ahead and take a moment. And let's do, first of all, we need to get into the right thing. So Seattle food. Oh yeah, we only have 3 of the Benz trucks. All right, we need to first and foremost swap those out because the Benz truck probably isn't even available anymore. So let's go ahead and do, this one will do all cargo 14. Yeah, let's do that one. So immediately we have much more availability there. So now we have availability for 42 capacity, which we will very quickly be dealing with. So 14 at a time is much better. But now, of course, we need to expand this. So let's go ahead and buy a couple more of those. The Studebakers. Let's go ahead and buy 3 more and then add them to Seattle food. So the longer you play the game, and look, now we got new man trucks that have come in, because of course we did, right as we were making our purchases. So let's come back over and check on our airplanes, because obviously this is going to be huge. And look at there. We are at basically max capacity right now. Still losing money, mind you, but we are at max capacity. This is something that we will keep an eye on. I haven't had zero luck, even running full capacity. If we continue to expand this, I'm not sure if it's something that I am doing badly wrong in general, because we should be making lots of money over time. Again, I'm not surprised we're losing money now, but over time, we should certainly be looking at making money. Or maybe it's something that the game is doing where we're not getting enough money for each of the passengers. So many possibilities, but is mostly the case is that I am doing something wrong. That's generally how this works out. There you go. You can see they're flooding over to the bus station now, which is really cool. And so now let's see, are we indeed serving this maximally? Let's come back over to the buses. Airport, 41 of 75. How many, I need to pause this one real quick. How many is he bringing in? Okay, so basically he's full. And how many do we have on this route? We've got 5. I think I'm going to expand. That's pretty cheap, comparatively speaking, to the airport. It's comparatively cheap to expand this. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we have plenty available for us. So I'm going to add 3 more to this route. And if it's overkill, that's perfectly fine. Because let's take a look at how we're actually doing here. So we've greatly expanded there. We're making just a touch of money, but you can see some of these other routes within the cities, in between cities are making great money. In fact, this one we probably need to expand at some point pretty soon. All right, so what do we have here? We got 96 waiting. Wow. Okay, so things are going very well. Okay, now the money is starting to come in. Wow, 4.8. Yes, we are definitely wanting to expand this. So things are going quite a bit differently right now than they have in the past for me. So maybe, who knows, maybe an update changed some things, or maybe I'm just doing things better this time around. We shall see. Okay, so we know we've got a ton of people waiting there. Down here in Surprise, we have how many? Only 20 here. Okay, we also have nobody coming in. So our flights... Okay, so flights are coming in from this direction and landing in that direction. Okay, that seems pretty good to me. And you see we're getting more capacity here. We get 31 people there. 32. So this is looking pretty good. Now we're finally getting some traffic down here. Let's see what our frequency is. Okay, we're down to under 100 seconds. I like that. Plenty of capacity. We'll let that go a little bit, but the main thing is we're making quite a bit of money. And so with that in mind, let's actually come back out and let's start looking at some of the different lines that we have. So if I put in bus, this only shows us the bus routes now, which we have a bunch of at this point. And let's see, how are we doing with capacity in some of these? You see some of these are losing money. Some of these are in the smaller cities where we simply have more capacity than we need. But again, we're making so much money, I have simply not spent a bunch of time worrying about it. All right, down here in Yonkers, you notice we have horse-drawn carriages, and that is because I absolutely love the idea that it is 1966 and we're still using horse-drawn carriages. I absolutely love that idea. Now, it's not doing anything good for the traffic in those areas, but that is more for my personal enjoyment than anything else. All right, other than that, I don't see any of our bus routes that are running at or really even that close to maximum capacity. So we'll see how that one goes. Let's come back to our airport. And you can see, wow, we are running very close to capacity, even with the additional planes that we've just added. Okay, this is good. We'll have to keep an eye on the money, but so far this is good. Costa Mesa looking very nice. With this route, we have plenty of capacity here, which is the main thing for me. If we're losing a little bit of money on the buses and making up for that on the planes, I'm good with that. Okay, there you could see the flight path. Let me try to get this out of the way a little bit. There you can see the flight path, which is not exactly the straightest flight path in the world. That's something we might have to come back to in the future. But for right now, I think this is a pretty good start. As always, we will continue to come through and check these out for any changes we need to make. And it looks like one of the changes I need to make is going to some of these small towns that I've set up routes recently for within the cities for buses. And I might need to adjust some of these capacities. We'll see. But there is plenty of time left in this playthrough. We're only at 1967, so tons of technology for us to unlock. We've got some Isuzu trucks now coming in. Let's see, this guy is dropping off max capacity, only picking up 10. I'm a little surprised here that the capacity, or excuse me, the demand here in Costa Mesa and Surprise is not more than it is on this side of things. I would have expected more than that. So we'll have to examine that in the future, see exactly what's going on. It could be that these folks are simply traveling by bus, and it's quicker and easier for them to go over to Fontana and then Costa Mesa than it is to take the plane. We'll have to wait and see, but that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more Transport Fever 2.